What a win for the Utah Jazz. Their first win of the season goes against the Chicago Bulls. This was a blast. This Chicago Bulls team wanted to win it. This Utah Jazz team wanted to win it. And the Jazz came out on top in a big-time way. Now, both teams had big-time players missing for them. For the Bulls, I think probably the biggest name is Zach LaVine did not play. They did not have Lonzo Ball playing. They still got nice nights from multiple players. Their player that I really love watching is Kobe White. Tonight he had a big night, 28 points, 6 assists, 2 steals. He's just awesome. And I have to say, we did it during the live stream. The comp to Keyonte George is really interesting, especially when you look at those rookie numbers. Pretty interesting. And the Bulls have allowed him to just continue to develop. And boy, has that paid off. Josh Giddey had a nice night for the Bulls, 15.7 assists. And then they also got a big night from Dosunmu, 25 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. So, solid night for the Chicago Bulls. Solid night for the Utah Jazz. I tell you what, I don't know why they're playing Talen Horton-Tucker over Modest Bucelis. That does not make any sense to me. If I were a Bulls fan and seeing something like that, I would be livid. I would be livid. Bucelis is nice. And yeah, he's not going to hit quite as many shots, but to play Talen Horton-Tucker over your top pick in the draft in Bucelis, that is bonkers. That's crazy town stuff. So, doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's what they want to do, I guess. All right, let's see here. So, let's go to the Utah Jazz and talk about this fantastic Utah Jazz win. All around incredible night for all of these different players. Specific ones was absolutely satisfying for me. KG 10 to TH5 Tank, no! Yeah, that's right. No Tank note tonight. It was Tank no. But you know what? In this tanking journey that we are all on together, you've got to appreciate the wins when they come. And we've talked about this before because they're going to be few and far between. But when those clouds part and the sunshine comes through, you've got to appreciate it. You've got to enjoy it. So tonight was one of those nights. A lot to be excited about if you're a Jazz fan. It's been a tough start to the season. You have the losses. You have Lauri Markkanen going down with back spasms. Probably going to be back soon. Taylor Hendricks having that horrific injury. So to have a night like tonight was fantastic and enjoyable. And if you didn't see it, I hope you guys go get your SEG Plus subscriptions and go watch it. But anyways, tonight, Cody Williams broke out a little bit. Cody Williams was struggling, but tonight he looked a little better. This is 2 solid games out of, 7 games where Cody Williams has played well. Did you know, by the way, shout out to Jazz 1016 on the live stream on the playback. He mentioned that Cody Williams leads the rookies in minutes played. Pretty interesting stuff. If he starts putting more and more nights like this together, and if the 3-point shot starts to fall, all of a sudden you might see Cody Williams getting some all-rookie consideration. This is the first step towards getting that, though. Tonight, 11 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal. One thing that's really nice to see with Cody Williams is he drives to the basket and he's finishing at a nice level. His passing is really nice. Look at that, 4 assists for Cody Williams. There were multiple times tonight where you could tell they were trying to take a little bit of the pressure off of Keyonte George instead of literally giving him all the responsibility, all the pressure, all the time. And it really worked out in a nice way because you got the ball into Collin Sexton's hands. But what was more interesting is that got the ball into Cody Williams' hands. And he did nice things with it. These are nice numbers. And I like the aggression we're seeing from Cody Williams. You could tell that once he hit that one free throw, let's see, he took 4 free throws. He missed the first 2. And I know he only made 1, but you could just see kind of that weight coming off of his shoulders. There's obviously, he really wants to play well, and it is probably very tough for him to come out here and not play well and then be asked to continue to keep pushing and pushing. And it's just nice to see him have a nice night. So shout out to Cody Williams, a plus 16. Look at that. So not only are you getting great offensive production from him, but you're getting great defensive production, and you can see it when he's on the floor. You know, plus minus is overrated. It doesn't tell a whole story. It doesn't include the nuance of different things and matchups and so on and so forth. But it is, at times, something you can point towards for a player playing good defense. So basically, when Cody Williams was on the floor, Utah did well. That is really nice to see, and probably a good sign as to why aside from the fact that the Jazz are trying to develop him, that the Jazz really like Cody Williams, Will Hardy. They like getting him on the floor. He has earned those minutes. It's a mix of a lot of the things. He does everything. He defends. He moves the ball within the offense. He makes the right play. And when this three-point shot starts falling, and eventually it will, Cody Williams is going to turn into something really nice for the Utah Jazz. All right, Kyle Filipowski only got 17 minutes tonight, but he was actually pretty decent when he was on the floor. You look at the numbers, 60% from the field, 7 points. I would say he played pretty solid. 17 minutes, these are the things, like when you look at the coaching, you can really tell the trust from the coach right here. This is all you have to look at. When they need to win the game, you can just see the minutes. And so, Will Hardy isn't quite there yet with Kyle Filipowski to give him 30 minutes a night, but he gave him 17. And in those 17 minutes, he played pretty well. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 points, and 1 for 2 from 3. This is fun stuff we're seeing from Filipowski. He's turning into something really nice for Utah. Now, they didn't play him big-time minutes because they were getting just some monster nights from guys like John Collins and so on. But it's just nice to see that he's getting on the floor and he's doing good things when he's on the floor. Fantastic stuff. I think it was Tyrone on the playback tonight made a comment in the playback that he mentioned, he said, you know what? Who do you think has played the best overall all season for the Jazz? And he said, I think it's Kessler. And just thinking about it, I have to agree. Overall, consistently every single night, Walker Kessler has put up nice numbers, has had nice nights just overall. And it's been hard to kind of pick out that player when you went 0 for 6. But you know what? Kessler was solid in each of those Jazz losses. And tonight, but he was even better tonight. 12 points, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 block shots. Kessler was a monster tonight. And I would have to say this +6 from him is about as impressive as any of the plus minuses tonight, because he absolutely was in there against the toughest players, getting tough assignments, and he played great. So really nice to see. He is putting up big time numbers, and Utah will look at this and be like, you know what? If he's doing this, that's pretty great to see. And if Walker Kessler can play like this every single night, then he becomes absolutely a core part of the future, or makes himself incredibly expensive on the trade market. Whatever it is, whatever the Jazz decide to do, fantastic stuff from Walker Kessler. And that's the big thing, is there is no way to know what Utah is doing. They are right now now gets their first win of the season, drops them to 2 on the board, but they're tied with the Bucks. The Bucks are playing the Jazz next, interestingly enough. The Bucks are not going to have the worst record in the league when you have players like Giannis and Dame on your team. That is just not what's going to happen. So Utah is essentially still number 1. But I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Oh, basically Utah is at ground zero at this point. They can do whatever they want. They can keep who they want. And what they're doing is making sure that they get data points. They look at their players and say, who is going to be a part of the future? Utah is going to make sure they keep the good players, and the other players will not stay on the team. Jace Garner, the Key haters have been real quiet last couple games. Yeah, they've been quiet. I have not heard many things. The comments have gotten less. Crickets, baby. But anyways, just got to give a big shout out to Walker Kessler, who's playing amazing. He had a really rough second year. He is playing awesome. And if a team wants Walker Kessler, Utah said 2 first-round picks, they're going to have to be good picks. If the Lakers come a-calling and they want Walker Kessler, guess what? It's 2 first-round picks. This guy is a really good player. So you're going to have to pay up, baby. Or Utah just says, no, we want Walker Kessler for the long term. Either way, it's a good choice by the Utah Jazz. So Collin Sexton tonight had a nice night, and he, kind of benefited. He really played better late in the game. Keyonte George really took on that brunt of the defense, and Collin Sexton, when Keyonte George takes that defense, plays much better. You can basically just count on it. When the defense is focusing on Key, Collin Sexton does great, and you got to give a shout out to Keyonte George, who's moving that ball around with the 9 assists. But Sexton takes that secondary and third level defense and crushes them. And you saw it tonight. 41% from the field, but he finally was hitting threes, 4 for 6. Perfect from the free throw line, 24 points, 5 assists. Really nice night from Collin Sexton. Absolutely awesome. And he is just a player that when you have the defense focusing on someone else, Sexton really comes in and crushes. It's really nice to see. And when his shot is falling, and we know that he's a better three-point shooter than he has been the first 6 games, he really scores at an efficient level. So this was nice to see for Sexton to put up these kind of numbers. And honestly, it puts the Jazz back in the category where other teams are going to have to bring their A game. You can't just beat the Jazz if you're bringing the nobodies like the Bulls did tonight. Utah will beat you, and that's what happened tonight. And it was just nice to see the young players for Utah playing well. So nice night from Collin Sexton. Really showed what he can do when the Jazz are doing their thing. Let's give a shout out to Keyonte George. We talked about the minutes. We talked about the trust. Guess who the head coach of the Utah Jazz trusted most? Gave him the keys to the car, baby. Keyonte George, 38 minutes tonight. Absolutely counted on by Will Hardy to carry this Jazz team to a victory, and that is what he did. 38 minutes, 42% from the field, but he shoots better from 3, 50%. He got to the line and took 13 free throws. This is big-time stuff. This was a star performance by Keyonte George tonight, start to finish. He played a great game. I wrote about it on SLC Dunk, and I'll do a video on it here. But Key has been playing well for the Jazz, and we've talked about it night in and night out from everyone who's been a part of the show. He has been playing well. The only thing that has not been going well has been the shooting. On SLC Dunk, I wrote about it. His assist to turnover ratio is much better than you think. Before this game, he was number 13 in the league in assists per game at 6.2. That has gone up. In fact, let's see where that's at. Keyonte George, 16.4 points per game, 2.9 rebounds per game, 6.9. That might be the updated. I'm not totally sure. Let's see if they've got it. I don't know. This may even go up even more because he had 9 tonight. So this may be at like 7. With a higher point total. He may be looking at like 18 and 7. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Let's not go there. So anyways, Keyonte George was, before tonight, averaging 6.2 assists per game. He was averaging 3.7 turnovers per game. So a 6-to-3 assist to turnover ratio. Well, let's look at tonight. 9 assists, 2 turnovers. Get off me. Get off of me. All right? Get out of town. Go somewhere else. Because Keyonte George is showing what we all should have been paying attention to. Get off of me with the basketball reference, the advanced analytics, all that stuff. Watch the games. Keyonte George was setting these guys up. Tonight, they were hitting the shots, and we should not be surprised. He gets 9 assists in this one. 1 steal, 1 block, only 2 turnovers, 33 points. Fantastic stuff. Jay says, imagine lineup of Key, Williams, Lowry, Flagg, Bailey, and Kessler. Absolutely. What happens when Key isn't getting the brunt of the offensive focus? What happens when you have a superstar like Cooper Flagg on the floor, garnering the absolute brunt of the defense, and Keyonte George and Cody Williams and Taylor Hendricks and all these guys, whoever, getting secondary and third level defenders? Watch out. Watch out. It feels like Cinderella Man to me for Keyonte George, because what he's doing is he is getting that heavy load, and he's starting to figure it out a little bit with the heavy load. What happens when he's like you know how like baseball batters have that weight on the bat as they warm up to go to the plate? That's kind of what Keyonte George is doing now. What happens when you take that weight off the bat and you go up to the plate? Holy smokes, will it be nice to see. But we should not be surprised. Keyonte George has been doing this. The Jazz offense has been flowing. They have been getting more three-point shots than people realize. In this one, and this is a shout out to Will Hardy, they get 35 three-point shots in this game. 37 for the Bulls. Utah is getting good shots, and they are knocking them. Tonight, they were knocking them down 45% compared to the Bulls' 37. Can we give a shout out to the Utah Jazz defense, by the way? Absolutely a lot to be happy about with this lead guy. No Lauri Markkanen tonight. No Jordan Clarkson. Honestly, in some ways, probably better because you're giving minutes to other guys. And you know what? Pretty soon, Patty Mills is going to give these minutes to Isaiah Collier. I cannot wait to watch Isaiah Collier play for this Jazz team. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bryce Sensabaugh got 10 minutes, and it was interesting how they used him because Utah was doing some things with their offense to take a little bit of the load off of Keyonte George. If you watched, there were a bunch of times where they would run a weave, they would get the ball into Collin Sexton's hands really quickly, and then they would kind of run, and Key would play off of him a little bit, or then run secondary pick and rolls and things like that. Utah is trying to get as many actions as they can in a possession each night. So you'll see they'll run things where it's just run a pick and roll. They ran a weave just to get the ball moving, and then they would run multiple pick and rolls, and it was nice to see. And Walker Kessler and John Collins were absolutely crushing with that level of play. But what's interesting is that they were running some things through Collin Sexton that went pretty well. They ran them through Bryce Sensabaugh right at the beginning of the game. He had 10 minutes. He got that kind of stint in the late first quarter, first half of the second quarter, and it didn't go well. He had 3 turnovers immediately. That is kind of the problem with Bryce Sensabaugh, is he is shooting the ball really well this year, like when he's playing off the ball, getting catch and shoot threes, being set up by Key or Sexton or Clarkson or whoever who is setting up those 3-point shots. But when he is handling the ball, 3-point line towards the hoop, and trying to work and drive and work towards the basket, it hasn't gone well. Audrey just walked in. By the way, Audrey is 4 years old today. Happy birthday to Audrey. Audrey, my dog, if you guys didn't know that. But anyways, happy birthday to Audrey. She is 4 years old today. Anyways, this is a little bit of a red flag, to be honest, is these 3 turnovers. And that was an issue at the end of the season last year when Bryce Sensabaugh was getting all those minutes. He was having he would have those games where he was getting like 6, 7, 8 turnovers each night, and it was rough, and it led to the Jazz tank. I mean, honestly, in some ways, this is kind of the tank commander right here. If you want to have Bryce Sensabaugh handle the ball, and you'll see stuff like this happen. It's pretty crazy. 1 for 3 from the field, and I'm rooting for him. I'm not rooting against Bryce Sensabaugh. He can shoot the ball. But 3 turnovers, that's rough. Jazz give Audrey a birthday gift with the W. Yes, the Jazz get a win on Audrey's birthday. Audrey is the good luck charm for the Utah Jazz. She's out here looking for stuff. How are you doing, Audrey? Are you doing good, Audrey? She doesn't want to come on. All right, so anyways, John Collins had arguably his best night in a Utah Jazz uniform. He was incredible. John Collins goes 12 for 17 from the field, 70% from the floor. He was 50% from 3, 13 rebounds, 28 points, 5 assists, just 2 turnovers. He was sensational, and honestly, a big part of this Jazz win. I don't think you can expect John Collins to do that every night. I certainly don't. But man, was it fun, and it showed what John Collins can do. He is really great. And so best night in a Jazz uniform for John Collins, no question. And you just got to feel good for him because he's kind of been a player that's been willing to do whatever the Jazz have asked him. He earned the starting role last year over Kessler. He absolutely earned it. And Kessler has been playing much better this year and has solidified himself as the starting center. And John Collins has not complained. Now, 26 million reasons to not complain, and I'm sure he's fine with where he's at. But he is doing really well. By the way, I heard from a friend that he's working on some additions to his house in Utah, so he probably expects to be here for a while. Nice to see John Collins. I honestly, in like 3 seasons, because he is 100% picking up his option next year. So he's going to make $26 million this year. He's going to make $26 million next year. But you know what? If John Collins is making $10 million a year, $5 to $10 million a year for the Jazz, and playing, forward center combo off the bench, I'm fine with that, especially if Utah gets Cooper Flagg, if they get Ace Bailey, and if next year they get AJ DeBonsa or Cam Boozer or Asa Newell or whoever. Actually, Asa Newell is looking really nice this year. Holy crap. If the Jazz can somehow get like a nice pick from the Wolves and get someone like that, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But anyways, then you're probably happy to have John Collins play with your second unit. You know what I mean? Utah at a certain point after the next 2 seasons where they are tanking and they are going to go get a superstar, they're going to get a Cooper Flagg, they're going to get an Ace Bailey, or they're going to get a Dylan Harper. Oh my gosh, Dylan Harper, guys, I'm so stoked. You get a top 3 pick in this draft, you are happy. Dylan Harper is a freaking baller, and I have a hard time now at not kind of thinking about him at number 2. Holy smokes. If you have Dylan Harper in this spot next to Key in this backcourt, that backcourt gets like, holy smokes, good. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? You might know what I mean. You put Cody Williams and the way he's handling the ball at the number 2 spot. Why not? Because he can handle the ball and shoot it. And you put Cooper Flagg at the 3. If Lauri Markkanen can defend good enough, keep him at the 4. And then who knows what you do at the 5. Taylor Hendricks comes back. Walker Kessler. Whoever else we draft. And then the next year you just kind of rest some guys and you let yourself be a bottom 8 team, and then you hopefully win and get AJ DeBonsa. Oh my gosh, this Jazz team will win a title. It's going to happen. But the Jazz just need a little luck, but they're doing the right thing. This is 100% the right thing. But anyways, back to the original point. I am happy with John Collins on this team. He is a very good rotation player in the NBA. He just makes more than he probably should, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. In the end, you have your cap and you use it. And the Jazz are using it responsibly, and they are opening their books so that they can sign. Keyonte George is going to eventually need a contract. If Walker Kessler is on this team, you're going to need to pay him. The Jazz have managed their cap really well. And, they are already giving that money to Lauri Markkanen, which is money well spent. They can either keep him long-term or they can do whatever they want. The Jazz have set themselves up to do this right. It is perfectly set up. Perfectly. I'm honestly, I have never been this excited about this Jazz team right now. It's amazing how much happier I am with a 1-6 Utah Jazz team that is likely going to have the worst record in the NBA. Don't get it. I mean, the Jazz may win a few more games than I thought. I thought they were going to not win. Literally, the way they played the last 6 games, I'm just spitting on my mic. I thought they wouldn't win literally a game this year. They're going to win some games. But I think it's going to be under 20, and I think they're going to be the worst record in the NBA, and that is the right thing to do. Because on nights like tonight, when you see Keyonte George do this and show what he can do, and you just give him chances to just develop, just play well. If he puts up a stinker against the Bucks, it's okay. It is okay. But you know what? He's going to be guarded by Dame, and he's going to do pretty well. And so he might put up a big-time night next game, too. He is an absolute baller. This Jazz team and this Jazz management and this Jazz coaching staff has done a great job. It is just getting better. In fact, let's just see if I want to do it right now because I don't care. It's my show. I'm going to do what I want. So we're going to go to the team stats here, and I'm kind of curious to see what the numbers are. No. Let's see. Advanced. Okay, here we go. Where are we at tonight? Utah was they're still last in the league in defense or in offense, but tonight might change. I don't know if it updated. Maybe. Utah Jazz is at 23. Well, Utah had a bad hole. Let's see if they updated the net rating. They did. Look at this. So Utah had such a bad first game. The first 6 games for the Jazz were absolutely historically bad. They were 10 games worse in terms of net rating than the next worst team. They were at -18. They are now at -14.4 average net rating, which now gets them within 6. So they gained 4 spots in one game. I'm okay with this being terrible. Look at that. You can see where these guys are at. Net rating tells you a lot. I'm kind of interested. I'm surprised Charlotte's right here. Milwaukee -6. That should get better. But anyways, Utah was historically bad. So Utah is going to have the worst record in the league. It's hard to see them not. Utah is got the most difficult schedule up until trade deadline. It's crazy how tough the Jazz schedule is. It's kind of a thing people haven't really been mentioning, but Utah has been playing winning teams, including tonight, all season long. Every single team they've played has been a good basketball team. And Utah has not been there yet. They've had a little rough start, but they're starting to figure it out. So Utah may win some of these games against some of these bottom feeder teams in the Eastern Conference, but they're going to feed off each other. And it doesn't matter. Utah is already building themselves a lead in this lottery. Fantastic. Charlotte's 2-5. You got to hope that Charlotte starts winning a few of these games here and there. But Utah, I'm okay with the win. You got to get a win here and there. If Utah goes into trade deadline with 6-7 wins, I'm ecstatic. That's exactly what you want to do. Exactly. You want Cooper Flagg. By the way, go search Cooper Flagg highlights from Duke tonight, and you'll see why it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. I don't know if Rutgers played today. Did Rutgers play today? Rutgers basketball schedule. Rutgers plays Wednesday, November 6th. Okay, so that's your chance. So tonight Duke played. Rutgers plays Wagner. Rutgers only ranked 25th. Are you serial? But anyways, they play Wednesday, November 6th. It's a chance to watch Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. Absolutely, definitely worth watching. All right, so Johnny Juzang. By the way, Drew Eubanks. I love Drew Eubanks. He's amazing. Drew Eubanks can be on this Jazz team for as long as he wants, and I'm happy because he plays tough. He is forcing you to rebound the ball. He just brings toughness. I like players that bring toughness. I want a team that is tough and strong and does not back down. That's why I love John Collins. He gets in fights with guys every night. It's amazing. He does not back down from someone getting a little uppity. I really love it. I love John Collins setting the tone and saying, you are not going to get away with that. I really love it. I really like it. So I'm happy he's on there. Drew Eubanks as well. Johnny Juzang is showing that he is I think Johnny Juzang might be a core part of this future, to be honest. In a lot of ways, you got to think Utah is just collecting players. Just collecting draft picks, collecting players. They're playing those draft picks, and the ones that pan out will stay, and the ones that don't do not. But one of those players that is really panning out is Johnny Juzang. 40% from three. This was a big-time game, and he hit a clutch three near the end of the game that was really big-time. Honestly, really great. Johnny Juzang is turning himself into a player. I hope he can just kind of figure out how to defend, but it wouldn't be a surprise to me if the Jazz have like an 8-9 man roster in a year or two, and Johnny Juzang is a part of it. Utah is absolutely, you can see what they're doing. Obviously, they just want to collect ballers. I want a team of ballers and hoopers, whatever the kids are saying. Hoopers, ballers, basketball players, whatever. The Jazz are collecting those first. It's what you want to do. But they are also collecting players that are big, long, and can shoot the ball. Shot callers. That's right, KG. Cody Williams, perfect example. Long, big, athletic, smart basketball player. Plays both sides of the floor. Shoots the ball. Cody Williams is a perfect example. Taylor Hendricks, perfect example of the type of player they're getting. He will come back and he will be great. But long, tall, athletic, shoots the ball, plays both sides of the floor, defends on one end, shoots it on the other. Johnny Juzang is kind of that mold, right? He's like 6'7", 6'8", whatever he is. He's pretty big. Honestly, I think he's 6'8". Let's just see. Johnny Juzang, is he 6'5"? No way. Did I just get proven wrong in my own video? Well, who cares? We're going to pretend like he's 6 foot. He's 6'5". That's not short. But anyways, he's shooting the ball at a really high rate. This season, it hasn't quite caught up, but tonight it was better. 33%, it matters. You have these players that can shoot, that are long and athletic, and it really matters. You know who else is going to fit that mold? Cooper Flagg. You know who else fits that mold? Ace Bailey. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, by the way, I cannot wait to watch VJ Edgecombe. I might have to miss the live stream on the Jazz. If the Jazz play that night, we'll see what I do. But I get to go see VJ Edgecombe. I'm going to go courtside and watch the Utes play the Baylor Bears. I really want to watch VJ Edgecombe. So anyways, great night for the Utah Jazz. Fan-freaking-tastic. Absolutely awesome performance by the Jazz, honestly, across the board. And they get a nice win. You got to appreciate it. Now, they're going to go play the Bucks. They're going to be hungry to win. They're going to try to crush this Utah Jazz team. I tell you what, if the Bucks don't play Giannis, and I think the Bucks didn't play him tonight, they are going to be pretty they're going to be surprised to watch the Jazz come in and get a win if they don't play Giannis, because I absolutely think that Utah can beat that team if they're not playing Giannis. Got to be careful if you're the Bucks. Really nice win. I guess I don't have anything else to say in terms of players, but let's just take a look. So, like we said, Utah has similar percentage tonight. That's crazy that the teams that are right next to Utah tied in wins are the Sixers and the Bucks. That is crazy. I would not be surprised to see Philadelphia go on a run here soon. I think that the Sixers are going to absolutely just turn it on here soon. Embiid hasn't been playing. As soon as Embiid starts playing, they're going to start winning games. So definitely that's going to happen. Okay, come on, computer. There we go. All right, so it's that time of night where we go. By the way, if you're a Jazz fan, you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Come on, my man. Or my lady. Whatever that is. All right, so let's do what we do every night, and let's give a shout out. Or no, not a shout out. We're doing the lottery sim. Let's see where we land. Utah falls to 2 now. If the lottery was today, what would happen? Utah gets jumped by 3, but keeps their top 5 pick. Man, that's brutal. New Orleans jumps 7 spots. Clippers jump 3 and give their pick to the Thunder. Are you serious? That would just absolutely destroy me. The Pelicans get the Milwaukee pick, so that gives them Ace Bailey. Crazy. Man, that makes me just sad just thinking about it. So anyways, I'm going to mark that down on my chart here. That we got the number 5 tonight. Let's see, really quick. I just got to get over. There we go. All right, marking that down. Number 4. Okay, now it's time to give a shout out to our All-Stars. These are the guys that support the channel, the guys and gals, I should say, that support the channel, that make things happen. I really appreciate all you members, but especially the All-Stars, the executive producers of the show. Let's give a shout out to Baby Elliot Madsen, Dirty Jazz Car Wash Channel. See ya, Alexa later. Let's see, Christian House Money to Haas, The Outlaw, Jesse James Nelson, Jordan the Goat, Best Roll, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire. Austin R. Grant was on the live stream tonight. KG10 to TH5, and Patrick Akubo, the Connoisseur. Guys, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. This has been an absolute blast tonight. Utah wins. They show that their young guys are legit, that when we get Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey, it's going to happen, that they will be next to a nice player like Keyonte George and Taylor Hendricks and Cody Williams and so on, and Walker Kessler and so on and so forth. Guys, like and subscribe to the channel. I will talk to you next time.